Hello and welcome to the Sky Spirit channel. Hang on, I'm just sorting out my little light thing. Is it going to make any difference? Probably not. Let's see. Does that even look any brighter? No. Doesn't matter how many lights I put on. I still look dark and shadowy this morning. Never mind. How are you doing and what are you doing today? And are you set to have a fabulous day ahead? I do hope so. If you're a subscriber to the channel, then please don't forget to put your questions in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, why not? Please do. I actually get statistics from YouTube, and 70% of people who watch the videos that I do aren't subscribed. So if you do enjoy the content, my cat's about to knock everything over here. If you do enjoy the content, please subscribe because it really does help me. And the reason it helps me is because you hear all these people on YouTube talking about getting 1,000 subscribers and getting more. And that's because it's when you get to 1,000 that you can start monetizing YouTube. And like, I don't want to sound like a sellout, but like it means that I can continue to do things like this without having to stop, because obviously when I'm doing this for an hour in the morning, I'm not working and I'm self-employed. So this is why we try to get more and more subscribers, because then you've got a chance of getting some money from YouTube. And it means that you don't have to ask people to pay for anything, because they just have to put up with a couple of adverts I was going to say crappy adverts, but I don't want to get banned. A couple of adverts from YouTube, and then that's that. Good morning, Mr. Steve, and good morning, Charlene. Right, so we talked yesterday about astrology and whether it's the same in the southern and the northern hemisphere. And I was like, wow, do you know what? I haven't actually thought about that before, which is really weird, because I've dabbled and looked into astrology for decades and decades, back from the days when I used to draw birth charts using an ephemeris of star positions and a compass and a pencil, because I'm that ancient, and you had to work out where everything was and draw it by hand. Whereas now you just bang your place, date and time of birth into the computer, and it prints all that out for you. So you just have to deal with interpretation. But I'd never actually seriously thought about this north-southern hemisphere question. And it's actually really relevant. So I thought, yeah, it must make a difference because the stars are different. And then I spoke to my stepdad, and my stepdad's not an astrologer, but he was a merchant navy captain who was old enough to have learned to navigate using the stars. And I said, well, aren't the stars different, like down the other side of the world? And he was like, well, no, you see the same constellations and things, but some of them aren't there, but the planets are still there. So he was of the opinion that no, it wouldn't make a difference. So then I went to good old Google, and Google in the main will say that it doesn't make a difference, north and south hemisphere. So it's the same thing. However, I've put a little link into the chat there, a Reddit thread there that I found with people saying they'd actually tried it in real time. So they'd actually studied groups of people, like even just like their Facebook friends, and looked at their characteristics and found that there was a difference. So I think it's worthy of some more study. So I'll be looking into it. So at the moment, I don't have a definitive answer, but I'm erring on the side of it's got to make a difference, hasn't it? It's got to make a difference. I mean, I understand that the moon and everything is the same, and you're still going to have Mars and Venus and what have you, but the positions of the stars are different. They're in a different place. So it's really interesting. If anybody's got any insight into that, then I'd love to hear it. Right, so talking of astrology, today we have something happening which happened on the 1st of April. So it's, oh, I've got a dog here. No, go downstairs. Go on downstairs. You can't stay here because you'll make a noise and bash things over. I've just been visited by a black Labrador. I must have left the door open. Just a minute. I'm going to shut this door, otherwise there will be chaos. Sorry, Elsie. So, what was I saying? Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, there's something happening today that happened on the 1st of April. That is Venus is conjoining with the North Node. in Pisces, and that's opposing the South Node in Virgo. That's it. And that's exactly the same thing as happened on April the 1st. So what that means interpretation wise is that it gives you an opportunity that if you made a decision or committed to something on the 1st of April, then you have another chance today to revisit that decision and change your mind. So it's a day where you can change your mind about commitments. So, you know, when you say to somebody, yeah, I'll do that, or yeah, no problem. If you did that on the 1st of April, then you can go back and say, I've changed my mind, I can't be bothered. So that's your astrology for the day. Aussie Mel, it was you yesterday asking me about the astrology. You see, I've put a link there about it. I don't know if you just caught the little chat I had about it there, because it's a really interesting concept, and the jury's still out on it, I think. Right, collective reading. Let's go. Interesting. So we've got 3 reversals here. Some readers won't read with 3 reversals. You know, they think that the cards have come up upside down if you've got lots of reversals together. But I'm going to read these as reversals because I like reversals because they make things more complex. Okay, so we've got the Lovers reversed here. And it actually makes sense as well, this. I'm going to show you all these cards first. Lovers reversed. 3 of Swords reversed. Ace of Wands reversed. So we'll take those 2 together. So the Lovers reversed and the 3 of Swords reversed. 3 of Swords is your heartbreak card. And when it's reversed, it's talking about moving away from heartbreak or finding a way to overcome that heartbreak, that situation of heartbreak. And because that's come out with the Lovers, I think that's quite poignant because that's quite indicative of somebody or somebody moving away from a relationship or deciding that enough is enough, and they've made a choice, because remember, Lovers is about choice as well. They've made a choice to follow their intuition and move away from that situation. Now, the 3 of Hearts, 3 of Swords, we always say it's a heartbreak card, but it's also a card of change because it's a 3, and it's like you've been pierced by 2 swords, but the 3rd sword is almost like it's leading the way. And when you look at the card, there is like that background of like a verdant pasture in the background, and it's like it's a card that says, yeah, you've got a broken heart, but there's a way out of it. And when you look at this Lovers reverse, this is saying to me that the way out is to walk away from somebody or some kind of personal relationship. Morning, Lulabelle. And that's going to lead you back to a happier place. And that really ties in with this Ace of Wands reversed as well, because it feels to me that this card is saying this would be you if you could just get rid of this tie to this unhealthy, toxic relationship. It doesn't have to be an intimate relationship. This could be work relationship, could be family, could be friends. This could be you if you can walk away from that. It's like this new power, this idea, potential, creativity moving forward, which is currently thwarted by this toxicity in this side of the relationship. So if you are resonating with these cards this morning, the advice is to wave that person or situation goodbye, don't look back, and just move forward to better things. Lovely. I love those cards. They're so positive, so empowering, that, isn't it? And do you know, sometimes leaving a situation or leaving a person is it's one of the hardest things you can do, isn't it? It really is. And you sometimes never know if you've made the right decision. But I've always found that if you're even considering that as a possibility, then there's something deeply wrong, isn't there? Because you're not considering leaving something if it's all roses and it's all wonderful. You literally, if you're asking the question, you sometimes know the answer. And this is just personal experience, and I'm sorry again to turn this into a me train, but it's like I always find you when you walk away from something toxic, you look back and you're like, why did I not just F off from that like ages ago? And it would have made things so much easier. And why have I wasted so much of my life in this situation? But I guess, you know, you've got to try these things, haven't you? And you've got to have a little bit of tenacity and stick in with things sometimes. But it's knowing, isn't it? It's that fine line of knowing when trying becomes trying, you know, when it's just like flogging a dead horse, it's going nowhere. So if you are in a toxic situation or relationship, then it could be time to call time on that today and make that decision. I love that empowering moment when you just make that decision and move forward, because none of us deserve to be tied to toxicity, and life is way too short. And I hate to be a cancer bore again, because I really am, but literally when people say having cancer or any disease like that gives you a new perspective on life, it literally does. Because I was like, last year I was like, oh my gosh, suddenly I might not have that much longer, and there's so many things I should have done, so many people I should have told to F off, and so many people I should have spent more time with. Hopefully I've got a lot more years left now, but it was that shock. And when you feel like everything's been taken, you suddenly realize how much time you've wasted. So I don't even need cards to tell you that. So there we are. Right, 12 card reading. Here we go. Choose a number between 1 and 12, or choose all 12 numbers, or choose as many numbers as you like. Or that was a bit of cat hair floating past. Or just take something from every card if you like. There are no hard and fast rules here, and the tarot normally leads the way. And as I've told you over the last few mornings, I've found that the cards seem to be linked when I put the 12 cards down. They're not very often sort of coming out individually with all different meanings. There does seem to be I'm just looking out the windows, big lorry. What is that? Nothing to do with me. So they don't seem to be like individual, if you see what I mean. They do seem linked. Right, okay, let's get these cards down and stop rabbiting on. People have things to do. Oh, the lorry might not be for me outside, but the dogs will now start barking continually. And it's going to park outside my house anyway, just to keep the dogs barking. But never mind. Right, okay, let's start with number 3, I think, today. What a beautiful card to start with. Number 3 is the 4 of Wands. The 4 of Wands is a card, conversely, goes against the collective reading, because the 4 of Wands is a card of unity, bliss, domestic happiness. This is a marriage card. This is a card that comes out often when there's a marriage, when there's a scaling up in the commitment of a relationship, when things are solidified, when romance materializes, when you manifest the romance that you want in your life. It's a celebration of being together with family and loved ones. So if you've chosen this card today, or if this card resonates with you, it could be that there's a time on the sort of very close horizon, sort of happening now, that's going to leave you feeling really, really pleased to be around the people that you love, pleased to be in the sanctity of your home, surrounded by people who have your best interests at heart. And if you are going through a bit of a bad time, then this is a card that says this is how you'll heal yourself. It's spending time around your hearth, your metaphorical hearth, with the people that you love, you know, sharing time with them, sharing laughter with people, just feeling secure with your family, and those that put you first, rather than those that use you for something, if that makes sense. So this is a really reassuring card, and it's a card that reminds me of that, you know, sitting around an open fire with family and friends, or pets, and just feeling that warm glow of happiness. So that is the number 3 card today, and we love that card, and that is telling you to experience and enjoy that feeling. Number 4 then. Okay, so number 4, we have got the Emperor, and the Emperor talks about manifesting power. He is a very, very powerful masculine energy, and this is a card that reminds you to take control. Okay, whatever it is that you're doing today, Put yourself in the position of the emperor. Okay, you are in charge. You're in charge of your own destiny, but you're also in charge of the minutiae, of the smaller things in life, of the details. Yeah, so don't let somebody else make up your mind for you. Don't let somebody else make those decisions for you. Don't let somebody else take charge or tell you what to do. You be sovereign. You be the emperor. You be the one that is in control of where you're going and what you're doing. Now, the emperor is also a card of protection. So if you're going through a hard time, this is a card that says, okay, the emperor is now looking after you. The emperor energy is around you. And it's like that sort of, it's the manifestation of that masculine protective energy. So it would be, it's this card, if it was referring to a person, it would be like, you know, a good leader or a king or a fair judge or something like that. A masculine energy who literally will look after you, or a good paternal figure, a strong paternal good figure. So if you are the emperor today, so if you've got things that you need to take control of, then do so with strength and positivity, because you have that around you today. Or if you have to deal with somebody who is in a position of power today, you can trust their judgment, because this is a card that indicates that somebody is being treated fairly and is somebody's being treated fairly, and at the same time it indicates somebody who will treat you fairly. So it's a really good card to have. It's a really powerful card to have as well, because it's major arcana. The emperor is like the king of the deck here, the king of the kings, and it's an opportunity as well, because he's a manifester. It's like if you've had a plan where you weren't quite sure if you were ready to do it, step forward into your power today and take up the reins and take on the challenge, because the emperor energy asks you to take that chance, because you've got a good chance of it succeeding. Number two, right, you've got the Seven of Pentacles reversed. This indicates that you might be feeling that you've put a lot of work, time and effort into something, and you're not getting out of it what you've put into it. It's like that feeling where, you know, at work, if you've done, you know, you put loads of work in and then you're rewarded with more responsibility rather than a pay rise or a promotion. They're just like, the more you do, the more they expect you to do. And we've all been in that sort of situation. And, you know, you get these people at work who like do as little as possible. They only do the absolute necessary. And when you've put a lot in and you get like no reward back, it makes you want to be that person who just does the absolute necessary. So this card indicates that. It can also indicate a little bit of anxiety, because when we put our all into something, when we work hard for something and it doesn't seem to be paying off, it can make you feel anxious, like, have I been doing the right thing? Have I gone down the right route here? Is this work for nothing? But remember, with a reversal of a card, it is the blocked energy of the full potential of that card's energy. And the full potential of this card is that is reaping the rewards of a bountiful harvest. It's having faith that your hard work will pay off, your perseverance will be rewarded. Okay, so try to let this ride over you today. Try to sort of swallow down any sort of bitter feelings of, wow, I put in so much to this and I'm getting nothing out of it, or I'm not getting what I put in, and just wait for the energy to turn around. Now, I use the analogy of when you're at work, but it doesn't have to be when you're at work. Often this occurs when we are you know, like if you're in a relationship and you're putting all the effort in, you're doing all the running, and they're just sort of lapping it all up and not putting the same energy in. That's that kind of feeling as well. But just bide your time, because the full energy of that card, it doesn't change, it just becomes blocked. So it will return. You will get the harvest that you've put the work into. So just try not to be disheartened, is the word that I'm looking for, because it is coming to you. Number one. Oh, the King of Swords is back on the table today. So the King of Swords, court card. So He's likely to be you or somebody else. With its one card, we can't exactly say for sure if it's you or somebody else, but this is the King of Swords. He's intelligent, he's knowledgeable. He uses his sword to cut through the clouds of confusion. So if this is you, we're looking at you having a day where you will feel in control, you'll feel in charge. If there's something that's been confusing, or if you've been unsure about something, today you should be able to take up your metaphorical sword and cut through those clouds of confusion and see things clearly. Also, the King of Swords is mercurial minded, which means that he thinks fast and he thinks on his feet. And he can be quite sharp of tongue as well. And that's because it normally feels like his brain. I'm just being quiet there because I've just realized I've got Easter eggs on my daughter's bed and the dogs next door. Just listening to see if I can hear them eating them. Don't think they are. If I disappear in a minute, it's because I can hear the dogs eating the Easter eggs. So back to the card. So yeah, he's a quick thinker. So he can get frustrated with people that seem slower. You know, when your brain's like going really, really quick and you're sort of like finishing off people's sentences and like getting frustrated because they're not on the same wavelength as you. So that energy can manifest with the King of Swords because it's like everything's happening at 100 miles an hour. You're on top of everything. And it's like everybody else feels like they're just along for the ride. So if that's you, try to temper your enthusiasm a little bit and don't be too sharp with people. If this is somebody else, this can be, if you come across this person today, rather than it representing you, this could be like a governor, somebody in charge, a CEO, a judge, somebody who has to rule with an iron fist, but they're generally fair, but they can be quite abrasive as well. But they're very, very intellectual. So it's somebody who comes up with lots of ideas as well. It's sort of, they're constantly on the go and they're constantly feeding into that lake of intellect. So like if you've got if you need help with something, if you need somebody to give you some ideas today, find your King of Swords and pump them for information, because they are literally overflowing with information and they'll be able to help you out. But again, the reversal of this card isn't reversed this morning, but there's always that subtle energy with swords. He can be a sharp man, and he can be abrasive as well. It's generally not somebody who is sort of brutal in the way that a reversed King of Cups can be. His can be sort of a bit of an emotional bully or an intellectual bully, somebody who could put you down a little bit. So just be aware of that and don't let yourself be intimidated by the King of Swords, because you have the power to stand up to him. He's not the be all and end all. So it's either you or it's somebody else. Either way, brilliant card. It's up the right way, but just be aware of that sword cutting both ways. Number 5. What do we have here? I'm going to pull that one. Number 5, we've got the 10 of Cups reversed here. I'm going to have to go and check the dogs. I think they might be in the Easter eggs. Bear with me. What are you doing? Go downstairs. Go on. Yeah, there we go. Just nearly lost a Smarties and a chocolate button egg down the throat of the black Labradors, who will literally eat anything. Right. Sorry about that. Right. 10 of Cups reversed. 10 of Cups reversed. This is indicating that you could be feeling a little bit shaky on the home front. So it's like, it feels like your home life might be getting turned upside down a little bit, and there could be a lot of changes on the horizon when it comes to your domestic footing, when it comes to the people that surround you, i.e. your family unit. Because the 10 of Cups is a beautiful card, and it's such a powerful card that the energy doesn't become negative when it's reversed. But what it does do is it draws your attention to the fact that in order to manifest the full joy of the 10 of Cups, it feels like you're going to have to put maybe some boundaries in place, or you're going to have to deal with something on the home front that you've sort of been pushing under the carpet in order to keep the peace. So in order to maintain this sense of domestic bliss, there could be something that you haven't addressed, or there could be something that needs said. It could be that, you know, when you really want to say something to somebody that you live with, or one of your children or something, but you think, yeah, it's not worth it, it's not worth it. And then you let it go and you let it go and you let it go. But it's sort of, when this card comes up, it often means it's come to a head and it's time to have that conversation in order to maintain that, or in order to return to, that full energy of the 10 of Cups in that positive aspect, which is fully rounded domestic bliss with no sort of secrets that have been pushed under the rug. Things are out in the open, things are clear, everybody knows what's expected of them and their place, and everybody's happy in that place. So if you have chosen number 5 today, are there some boundaries that you need to address? Are there some home truths that need to be spoken? And I'm saying spoken because it's not the sort of you know, it's not argument, it's not swords, it's not like 5 of Swords or something like that. It's that sort of, is there a discussion that needs to be had in order to increase the sense of happiness at home? So have a think about that if you've chosen that card. It's a really interesting one. Let me know how that resonates with you. Number six, wonderful card. You've got the Ace of Swords upright. So this card, if you're trying to get pregnant, this is a great card because it means fertility for a start. But it can also mean, it's, if you look at the hand is coming through the clouds with the sword, and it means that the confusion's clearing. Out of the confusion comes the solution. And it's like the hand with the sword is like, here, this is for you now. It's passing you the baton. Take the sword and move forward. Progress, mental clarity. You know where you're going. You know what you have to do when this card comes out. It's like you are being brave and you are becoming braver, and you know what you have to do. And sometimes that means revealing some truths, and sometimes it means cutting things away with that sword in order for the truth to be revealed. Because swords, remember, they are useful, but they can also be used to cut things away. So sometimes, in order for the truth to be revealed, there does have to be some casualties. And I don't mean to say that literally. I mean that sometimes you have to leave some things behind, cut some cords, like cut cords with the past, leave behind some old patterns of behavior, perhaps. Because we're looking at an ace, you're looking at a beginning of a new stage of moving forward, of like, it's the start of something. But to start something with a fresh footing, you often have to cut away what was left behind so that it doesn't hold you back moving forward, if you see what I mean. You don't want things to raise their head again once you've started on your new path and everything's going tickety-boo. You don't want something from the past popping up again and causing you a problem. So this card invites you to, yes, take on that challenge of the new path or get pregnant. But remember, these cards have often got more than one reading, but we're going to go down the take on the new path. So take on that challenge, go down that new path, but make sure that you've cut through the confusion, and make sure that you have cut the cords with anything in your past that can hold you back. Number seven, we've got the card of giving and receiving, which is your 6 of Pentacles, but this is reversed. So what this means when it comes up as a reversal is that there's an imbalance with what you're giving and what you're receiving. It can be financial, it's pentacles, it can be work or finances. Pentacles are very tied to those things. So it could be that you're putting in a lot of effort at work and getting not much back, or it could be that you are being very charitable or generous with somebody and they aren't giving you that reciprocal feeling back. It can also mean, this card also is about gifts, and it's about if something feels too good to be true, like if somebody offers you something as a gift and it feels too good to be true, it probably is, because this card speaks of something that's given with strings attached. Or, you know, if somebody gives you something, but then down the line, they know and you know that they're going to want a favor back. And the reason they've given you the gift in the first place is so that you then feel indebted to them. So when they ask for what they really want, you don't feel that you could say no. So if something comes your way today, consider it very carefully. Look at the intention behind the gift. Look at the motivations of the person who's offering you the gift before you accept anything. So just double check those things. But again, that's one meaning. But it also, as I started with, it can also mean that imbalance in that giving and receiving. So if that's the case, look carefully at all the balances in your life. Who are you giving to and who are you receiving from? Whether that's work, love, home, family, friends, whatever it is. Are you pouring too much of yourself into somebody and they are literally just sucking it all up and they're not really giving you back what you deserve? And this card invites you to address that balance and to put it right. Because sometimes when we let things like that go on and go on and go on, it becomes the norm and then it drains you and you can't pour from an empty vessel. So once you've finished pouring all your generosity into somebody and putting all your feelings into them or helping them, then once you've done all that, you're empty. You can't help them anymore. And they're like, yeah, right, okay, you're no good to me anymore. I'll just move on to the next person. So this card invites you to really address that balance. And sometimes it's really hard to say no to people, isn't it? But no can be such an empowering word. And you don't even need to explain that. You know, you're just like, no. No, I don't want to do that, or no, I can't make that, or just no. You don't owe anybody an explanation for why you're refusing to do something, or why you're not going to do something anymore. This is a card about putting yourself first. So watch out for gifts that come with strings and have a look at the balance of giving and receiving in your life. Number 8, you've got the Hierophant reversed. The Hierophant reversed talks about you taking an unorthodox path forward. It's like you're bucking the trend. It's like you are going against the flow. It's like you are being unconventional. It's unorthodox. Whatever you're doing, you're going about it in a way that nobody would expect. Or if you've got a problem that you're trying to tackle and you've tried everything that you can think of doing and it's still causing you problems, why don't you try something really unorthodox? Okay, because the Hierophant is the card of orthodox things. It's church, it's religion, it's structure, it's patriarchy, it's like corporations, organizations, things that work in a very structured way. And when you turn it on its head, this is like the black sheep of the family. This is somebody that bucks the trend. This is unconventional. Hiya, Pam. This is unconventional things. This is somebody who walks their own path. So if you're receiving this meaning today, so if you've chosen this card or if this is resonating with you, are you taking on an unconventional path? And if you are, it feels like the cards are saying, yeah, well done for doing that. Pat on the back, because this is going to get you to where you need to go. It's like you're being prodded down the unconventional route by the reversed Hierophant and asked to entertain different ideas of how to do things. Just because I'm just reading Shirag Jen, I've put in the same question in the chat over and over again, I think. Is that because it's important, or have you kept your finger on the button or something there? I'm not sure. Back to the card then. So it's like you're being invited to try something new. You're being invited to try something new, or you're being commended for your alternative path. And it's like a nod to the fact that, yeah, you're on an alternative route. So it's all about alternatives. It's all about trying something different. It's all about taking the path that isn't well trodden. taking a different route to get to where you want to go. I like that card a lot. Number 9. Number 9, you've got the Two of Swords. The illustration on this card says it all. So you've got this lady and she's got a blindfold on and she's got 2 swords like this and she's got the moon over her head. So basically what this translates as is like it's indecision. It's not knowing what way to go. It's like you've got 2 options or more on the table and you just can't see what way to go because she's blindfolded. She doesn't know which way to go. She can't see the way forward. And the relevance of the moon is reminding this woman that she has intuition and to listen to her gut, to listen to her intuition in order to remove the blindfold, to make the right decision between these 2 options. It's important to use the intuition, the gut feeling. And how do you identify what that gut feeling is? Because it's so difficult, isn't it? When you think, right, I'm going to use my intuition. And then your mind's going, ooh, are you going to think this? And because like separating your intuitive voice from your actual internal chatter is one of the most difficult things, I think. I think they call it discernment, isn't it? And the way that I do it, I've said this before, but I haven't said it for a while, so I'm going to say it again. The way that I do, I use 2 ways of doing this. First of all, talk to your higher self, or if it's your, I say higher self, you could say guardian spirit, guardian angel, spirit guide. To me, they're all the same thing, okay? We're all one. We're all the collective energy. So address that and say, okay, for a positive response, I want to see, this is how I do it. For a positive response, I want to see white horses. For a negative response, I want to see black horses. And then I'll ask a question in my mind, and then in my mind's eye, I'll see white horses or black horses, and that'll be a yes or no. You could also use that in the real world. So you could say, right, okay, if it's a yes to my question, I will see a black feather today or something like that. And then like look out, well, you don't even look out for it, and then you'll notice a black feather, or you won't, or you'll notice a white feather or whatever. So give yourself a yes or no option. Now the other way that's really powerful in doing this, and it's a bit like muscle testing. Which lady who was on Awake and with Beverly Rhodes did the muscle test, you know, when she does that thing like that, it's Neha, isn't it? Yeah, she goes like it's a muscle testing thing, and this is the same thing. If you ask yourself a yes no question, because it's so much easier when you use yes and no, like, and think about something where, right, say if I say my name is Bob, okay, then I can feel, right, if I say my name is Bob, say an untruth, and then you should feel a constriction in your chest, like your heart chakra, and that's a no. It is Neha. Thank you, Mandy. And then if you say something that is true, I have 3 cats, you feel it the other way around, and it's really strange. You do actually feel it. So it's a similar thing. It's your body, your muscles know, because everything's connected. We are a spiritual being made of muscle and flesh, but I believe that our bodies know everything. And if you think about how your subconscious works, your subconscious keeps you breathing at night, makes you digest food, keeps every cell in your body working and doing things, and you don't have to think about it. It just knows how to do it. So your body knows more than you consciously know, which is why I think that muscle memory and muscle testing is a great way of connecting with your higher self. So, God, I have rambled on there. So if you are trying to use your intuition to answer a question, try one of those methods in order to remove that blindfold and decide which way to go. Let me know how you get on with that. I really am a strong believer in that way of making decisions. And touch wood, that's probably composite, but I'm sure that'll do. Touch wood, that's my desk. It's composite. It will do. Touch wood, it's always worked for me. Right, number 10. Number 10. The Two of Pentacles reversed. This card indicates that you're feeling like you've taken on too much. This guy is juggling. And what's happening when he's upside down, he's juggled too many balls. He has got too many plates spinning and they're starting to crash on the floor. Because if you've ever watched one of those people that spins plates, they get so many going and then they're like running around them all, like keeping them all going one after the other, one after the other. And eventually you get one too many plates and then they all start falling off one by one because you can't keep up with them. And that's the Two of Pentacles energy. It's like you've taken on too much, you're spinning too many plates, you're juggling too many balls. You need to put down your balls, or at least some of them. You need to step back from some responsibilities, delegate some of those responsibilities, or just what things don't actually need to be done now, what can be put on the back burner. Because if you try to do everything at once, sometimes you just spread yourself too thinly, don't you? And you don't do any of those things properly or well enough because you're trying to do everything all at once. You're spreading yourself too thinly. Sometimes it is so much better to just really limit yourself to just, right, today I'm just going to tackle two things or one thing, or even, or even no things. Even you're just going to recuperate your energy just for one day and just stop juggling all those balls and spinning all those plates. And I know that modern life means that we have to spin plates and we have to juggle and we have to play with balls. But it's like, if you can put down something, then do so, because this is a card of stress, and it's that sort of card, it's that feeling where you're on a treadmill and it's getting faster and faster and faster, and you know it's only a matter of time before you fly off the other side of it because you can't keep up with it. So trying to take on more and more is counterproductive, because when it all crashes down to the floor, it's going to take you a lot longer to pick it all up again and get back on an even keel than it will do if you just gently put things down a little bit now and prioritize on what actually has to be done, rather than trying to get everything done all at once. And I know that's really difficult in modern life, and it feels like we literally sometimes have to keep all these things in the air. But if you can, then do so, because the true energy of this card, the actual upright Two of Pentacles, is somebody who is enjoying their balls. It's somebody who's enjoying juggling their balls. It's like they are in control of them. They are balancing them. They've got a lot on, but they're on top of it. They are really managing it all. And it's like, when you're like, I'm cooking on gas. I've got this going, this going, this going. I'm in charge of everything, but I know where everything is. So this is the energy that you want. And it feels like you're just tipping over at the minute. So your mission is to get back to this place. And however you do that, whether it's dropping some stuff or whether it's just giving yourself a little bit of a rest period so that you come back with more energy, then try to do that today if you can. Number 11. Number 11, you have Temperance reversed. So Temperance reversed. Temperance is about moderation. And when this card is reversed, it's talking about excess of something or chaos. And it's because it's chaotic because you're putting all of yourself into something and not enough of yourself into something else. It's like you're not balancing yourself amongst all the things that you have to do. Quite fits in quite well with some of the other cards here. So that's about balance, really, isn't it? So this card coming up would be like, you are that not balanced person. You're putting too much energy into one thing and not another, or there's chaos around you because you're focusing too intently on one thing. You're hyper focusing on one thing and not actually keeping up with the other things that you have around you. It can also mean that there's a lot of frustration going on. It can mean that you feel impatient. Life can feel chaotic because of this imbalance of energies and the fact that it feels like you're firefighting. It's like whack-a-mole. It's like, just trying to keep on top of everything and just all over the place. And this is about, when this card, it's a major arcana, so it's a really powerful card. And this is the card of moderation. This angel is pouring water. Water is emotions, remember, from one cup to the other, not spilling a drop, because it's all very controlled. And she has 1 foot in the water of emotion, 1 foot on the land, which is the earth, which is practicality. So that's a balance between water and earth. It's a balance between the imagination and the realistic expectations in life. So it's a card that invites you to address those balances, because this has come out as reversed. It usually appears when somebody is having an unbalanced time and their energies are scattered and they feel like they are not moving forward because they have not got 1 foot on land and 1 foot in water. It's like they're either both foot in water, both foots in water, or both foots on the earth. And it's like that balance isn't right. It feels off kilter. So Temperance invites you to put some effort into resuming that balance. And it can be, it's also a card that can come up when sometimes comes up when you need to spend some time in self-reflection as well. So if you can, it's like, because sometimes we don't realize that we're unbalanced. We don't realize that we're putting too much into one thing and not enough into another, because we're too busy fighting our way through life to actually sit down and reflect and think about what we're doing. So if you have the time, or if you're able to, spend some time in self-reflection to try to identify where that imbalance is, and what you can do to address it. Because I think I'm guilty of this as well. Here we go with the me train again. You know, like someone will say to me, you can't do all that, but you can't do all that all at once. I'm like, well, what choice do I have? I live by myself. I've got to do this. I've got to earn money. I've got to do this as well. And like, you don't feel like you have a choice. But when you sit back and think about it and think, well, what if I've got to make a decision and put something to the side in order to put energy somewhere else? There are some things that aren't the priority that you imagine they are. Some things can be put to one side while you achieve this balance, because once you become unbalanced, you're not giving your all to anything, are you? Just like your reversed Two of Pentacles, it's impossible to keep all your plates spinning if you're in an unbalanced energy state. So Temperance invites you to address that chaos and try to right it. Finally, we have, this is card number 12, and we have the King of Wands reversed. So the King of Wands reversed can be somebody who is it's a masculine energy, so a court card. It's either you or it's somebody else. And he can feel like he's quite stern, he's severe, he can be bad-tempered, but he can also be a little bit dishonest. So if this is somebody around you, check their motivations. I said that the other day as well. Notifications and motivations. Motivations, check their motivations. Make sure that what they're selling you is what's actually for sale. Make sure that what they're saying is true. Make sure that what they're promising is what's on the table. Because it's sort of, it's somebody who is not being honest. This is like the card you'd expect to see when you're being visited by a dishonest salesperson who's like, you know, like trying to sell you something like a new roof for the house, and you don't need a new roof. And they're telling you that, oh my goodness, you know, your roof's going to leak and it's going to cause these problems. And you don't want to leave it till winter because then it'll be dreadful. We won't be able to come and fix it. They're lying. Okay. This would be the reversed King of Wands. But if this is you, then hopefully you're not being dishonest, but are with somebody else. But you can be dishonest with yourself. And this is also a card that talks about somebody acting very too severely with themselves. So it's a card that comes out when you're treating yourself unfairly. And I'm just reading that, Lady Cats. You need to figure out their agenda. Yes, agenda is a really good, I should have said that, an agenda, reversal of this card. When somebody is under this influence, their agenda is often not what you think it is. So figure out their agenda. And if it applies to you, we can still be dishonest with ourselves, can't we? So figure out your agenda for being dishonest with yourself. Are you looking at somebody else with rose-tinted spectacles because you want them to appear like a good idea, or you want something to be a good idea because you've convinced yourself that it is. But do you need to take off those rose-tinted specs and look at things more honestly, with honest eyes? This can also be a card that comes out when you're being, as I said, severe with yourself and judging yourself too severely, and being harsh with yourself, you know, because you've got to be forgiving. I always think that you should treat yourself as you would a really good friend. If you know, it's so easy to go, oh God, why did I do that? Why did I say that? Why did I act like that? Why do I always give up that? Why do I do this? Why am I so rubbish at that? Now imagine that you're sitting with a really good friend who's talking to you. What would they say? They wouldn't say that. They would say, well done for trying. It wasn't for you. Or, yeah, you did that wrong. So what? Everybody does. All right. So our friends don't tend to judge us as sternly and severely as we judge ourselves. So if this card has come up for you, either checkbox, look for that dishonesty either in somebody else or in yourself, or look for that severity in how you're judging yourself. So that's a really interesting card. So let me know if that resonates with you. Now I need to go back up this list of chats, don't I? Because I have seen, right, yes, Chirag, is it Chirag? I can take a question now, yes. Do you want to retype that, or is it the question that you were typing in before up here? Let's see. Okay. Is it? I'm guessing it's that same question, isn't it? So, right, Chirag, will Muskan come back to you or not? All right, let's have a look. Now, remember, when you use tarot cards, or when you listen to somebody else using tarot cards, this is how I read it anyway, okay? Nothing's set in stone. This is how I see it. What you get with tarot cards is what is most likely to happen given the current energies continue and given the current situation. You sort of tend to get a reading like, this is what's most likely to happen given the exact circumstances of today. But we all have free will. So you can change things. I believe some things are destiny. I believe there are things in our lives, major events. A lot of the major arcana things seem to be destiny, seem to be laid out in front of us and difficult to avoid. But for the smaller, for the minutiae, for the details of our lives, we have free will, and we can change what happens to us by choosing new paths, by making different decisions. So what I'm waffling on to achieve an answer to there is saying that I can ask that question for you, Chirag, but it obviously depends on you as well, yeah? They will question line wise, line right, take. I'm not quite sure I understand what that means. They will question line wise, line right. I'm going to go back up and look at. Right, so I'm going to look at the question. Right, will Muskan come back to me or not? All right, okay. I'm going to ask the cards for an honest answer here. Given the current circumstances, will Muskan return to Chirag? Let's go for this, okay. Right, I'm getting somebody moving away from a quite chaotic and destructive situation. And it feels like they are, it feels like it's been a really hurtful situation for somebody, and they feel like they're having to move away. Somebody knocking on my door and the dog's barking, they can just have to stay there. So it feels like they're going to move away from you, I'm going to have to say, because the final card here is the Six of Cups, which is a card of nostalgia. But it can mean that it's something from the past and they want to leave something in the past. So it's like They're moving away. The Six of Swords, if you have a look at the illustration, it's somebody moving away from a situation. The Tower card is an event that happens. It can be quite a shocker. It's something that happens that means that can be quite an upsetting event, or it can be an argument, or it can be just something that's happened that's really upset somebody and they felt the need to have to move away from it, and it feels like they want to leave the past where it is, or to return to a point before now. It feels like they want to go back to the past. So I'm getting from these cards, I'm sorry to say, I don't see that they are going to come back given these cards. And I wish I could be positive, but I will always tell you like it is. I'm sorry, my dogs are barking in the background. So sorry about that. I hope that hasn't been upsetting, but I have told you what I'm seeing in the cards there. Okay, I am looking at the other questions here now. Right, Midnight Angel. You feel like you're being pulled in many directions. I need, so guide me, please. Right, okay, Midnight Angel, let's have a look. My dogs sound like the hounds of hell, don't they? They're actually two black Labradors who would literally lick you to death. But nobody trying to break into my home would know that, because they sound like a pack of wolves. And they always start barking when I'm trying to do this. Shut up! Right, Midnight Angel. Pulled in so many different directions. Let's see if we can get some guidance. Okay. Right. Right, so it feels like you feeling like some instability. It feels like things have been turned upside down and you've got the rug being pulled out from under your feet and destroying your sense of stability. It feels like you're not trusting your own judgment, and it feels like you've been put in that position by almost like allowing other people to make those decisions for you. It's like you've given away your sovereignty to somebody else, and that's destabilized you and made you feel that what you had initially wanted to do might not have been the right idea because you've listened to too many voices going on. Now, what I'm getting here is your Seven of Wands, and this is a card that talks about resilience, but it also talks about standing your ground. If you see the illustration on this man is standing his ground because it feels like the people that have destabilized you by sort of putting their awe in have come up with all these like different ideas of how things should be done or what you should be doing, or they all feel like they're right and you should do this, and they're giving you all this advice. And that's why you've ended up feeling like destabilized, because you've listened to too many opinions. So this card invites you to return to your original idea. So to stand your ground, to go back to what your initial plan was and sort of become more tunnel visioned and not be distracted by what these other people have to say. Because what awaits you is this card, the Knight of Cups moving in, is an event which is beautiful. The Knight of Cups is often called the Knight in Shining Armor card. So it can be an actual knight in shining armor. So it can be like a new romance that comes and sweeps you off your feet. But it can also be a romance with yourself. It can be that sort of successful resolution of something because you've stood your ground and because you've been resilient and not listened to the destabilizing views of other people. So dog's back at the door. I'm really going to have to pen the animals in tomorrow. I've got cats over here and dogs over here. Right, so back to my Knight of Cups here. So it feels like the resolution that you'll achieve here, Midnight Angel, you already know this. You've already known this all the way along, but other people's opinions sort of took you off course. It feels like you need to get back on your horse and stick with what, I'm just stroking a cat going past here, and stick with what you had already decided, okay? And it's a matter of the heart, and it feels like you're going to return to a state of feeling more emotionally. Yeah, I'm just pulling another card there as well as a clarifier. It feels like you're going to feel more sovereign, more in charge of your own thoughts again, because this card and this card, look how similar these cards are, okay? This is the Seven of Wands. This is you standing your ground. And this Five of Wands here, this can be conflict, people that are jealous or envious around you, battling to tell you how to do things, battling, putting different ideas in your head, sort of, and but not from a place of respect or love. It feels like it's almost a competitive advice, or just people wanting to be right, so they try to get you to do it how they want you to do it. So I think the advice from these cards would be, Midnight Angel, is to stick to your original plan in order to meet your Knight of Cups. And I don't mean that literally, although it could be literally. I mean, this is you at the end of this process. It's you feeling emotionally secure again, being your own knight in shining armor, because you've relied on yourself and made your own decisions in order to stabilize yourself again. Your Four of Pentacles is that financial, emotional security that you can achieve by following your own plan rather than letting everybody else interfere. I hope that makes sense for you. Did I see another one? Yes, I do. Mandy, you chose 5 and 3 this morning. However, you weren't there when I read 3. Could you combine and read the two numbers together for me, please? Mandy, I've just picked all the cards up to reshuffle them, and I don't know what 5 and 3 were now because I picked them all up and shuffled them again. So I don't know what they were. You'll have to go, if you go back and look at the recording, because what happens afterwards is I go on to, and I put the timestamps on in the description. So if you give me 10 minutes when I finish the live, I go onto the description and add timestamps into the description for each card, because I go through the recording, got right, number 3, that's at 5 minutes 4. And then you can go into the description and you can just like click on that timestamp and it'll take you directly to that card, so you don't have to watch the whole thing. So if you do that, because I'm sorry, I can't remember what cards 5 and 3 were, so but that would be a way around that. Sorry about that, Mandy. Right, is there any other questions? And Mandy, yes, I will say to the puppet hello, and they will bark plentifully back, because that's what they like doing. They are real barkers, which is a good thing, I guess, because, you know, keeping the house safe and all that. But honestly, they never shut up. And they're like, literally, they'll bark. There'll be somebody closes a car door down the street and then they bark for half an hour. My neighbours must love me. Right, it was Lady Cats. What do you think when folk get weird about tarot cards, calling them necromancy, etc.? My grandma used to read the cards, but turned to God. Thanks. Yes. What do I think about it? I try not to think about it, but I get what you're saying. I totally think that there is nothing evil about tarot cards. And one of the things that I planned to do was to make a video about how do tarot cards work, because different people think they work in different ways. Some people actually think that tarot cards are a supernatural thing and they have the power, and you know they should be treated with reverence and nobody else can touch them, and they must be purified with salt and all this. So they give their power to them. I think that you have the magic, and I think the magic is between us. I think it's a connection between souls, and I think that is the case because the belief that I subscribe to, I'm an eclectic witch, is that I believe that we're all connected. I believe that we are all one with source. So we're all one with God, and that all gods are one god or goddess. So if somebody said to me that it's necromancy and it's weird, then I think it'd just be like water off a duck's back, to be honest. It can be quite hurtful. And yeah, I have been discriminated against with people, you know, oh, she's a witch, oh, she does tarot cards, oh, that's dreadful, he'll invite bad luck, etc., etc. But I just think that's absolute rubbish. And it's like, I mean, sometimes I use the cards just as an intuitive tool at times, because if you're facing a problem and you just lay some cards down, even without trying to read them, they act as prompts for your intuition and your imagination, so that you can use them purely, even if you didn't believe they had anything to do with any sort of power, internal or external. You could use them as a prompt. So when people, I actually do like it when people, if I get a real God botherer, for want of a better word, that will tell me that I'm evil, then I quite like to rise to that challenge and talk to them about it. Because these are printed pieces of paper. This is a printed piece of paper. It does not hold power as far as I'm concerned. The power comes from within me connecting to you, and the power is yours too. And that's the power. And I think we all share that. So I hope that sort of answers the question. I'll think more on that before I make that video I was talking about, because I really want to explore that and explore the different ways that people, how people attribute to how cards work. And it's interesting that your grandmother turned to God. We were talking about, there's a woman called, is it Doreen Virtue, who's the angel lady who did a lot of oracle cards. I think I've got, yeah, Doreen Virtue. She did oracle cards. She was an angel lady, and she apparently now has turned to God as well, and is sort of denouncing everything to do with divination as a work of the devil and all that. And I just don't get it, because I'm like, well, all right, if you did believe in God and you do think that this, that, and the other, then why would, if God created everything, God created tarot. So, if God created everything, God created me and my beliefs. And like, I know in my heart that I do no wrong. So how can I be judged evil? And if there was a God and they did judge me evil for doing no evil, then it's not a God I want a part of. So I think that's my answer. And Lady Cats, you've got another question there. You love my dogs. I love my dogs too. They are just noisy. Will you get a new job soon? Let's have a look. And thank you, Jen, for liking my nails. I've just repainted them again because they were all chipped. So I painted over, because yesterday I was painting in the studio and I actually got paint on the nails. So I just painted over it this morning with more nail varnish of the same colour. Right, so Lady Cats, are we looking at a new job? Just bear with me. Honestly, Lady Cats, no, you haven't offended me at all by asking that question. I'm just reading. Absolutely not at all. I love having conversations about things like this. It's I find it enlightening to listen to other people's opinions, but also, it's good to talk about these things, because people have these ideas that, tarot cards are so evil, and it's this, that, and the other, and it's Virgin on a Ouija board, and it's like, it's just not the case. As far as I'm concerned, not saying I'm right. I'm just giving you my opinion there. Right, Lady Cats, will you get a new job soon? Absolutely. Right, what we have here is a Page of Cups, which is inspiration, creativity, moving forward. It's also a message about good news. It's like something that comes, news that comes to you about a new opportunity, and it's cups. It makes you happy. You've also got the Magician. The Magician is the manifester. He puts all the elements on the table and he waves his wand and he makes it into what he wants. So it's like he creates the job. He's actually used his resources in order to manifest this job, and it's coming, it's calling on you. That page is a message, it's a new thing, it's a new spurt of creativity, it's new inspiration, and it feels like that job will be something creative as well. But you've also got another page there. You've got the Page of Swords, and your Page of Swords is about a thirst for knowledge and curiosity, and it's also about messages. Again, it's another page. Pages are also about new beginnings. So I'm going to combine your two pages here and say that this is like this feels like it's going to demand a lot of intellect and creativity on an intellectual level. And also your manifesting magician there is the person that's got all this moving. So all three of these cards, if I just pulled one of these cards, I would have said yes to that question with each of those cards. But all three together are like, yes, you are going to get a new job soon. It's going to, looks like to me, you're going to get a message about it really soon. Looks to me like it's going to be something that's creative, or it's going to get your, not necessarily creative as in, you know, an artist or a poet or an actor, although it could be, but it's like creativity is about having to think clearly and to solve problems. So I hope that's good news, and let me know how that manifests for you. Lovely. I love new jobs. Right, have I got any other questions before I go down and see the dogs? I don't think I have. Oh, hang on. Sonali, hi, what's coming in love? Okay, right, I'll do this one. I think that's the last one. Oh, no, hang on. I've got another one. Right, I'm going to do two more. So I'm going to do Sonali, and then I've got... and then I for Jen, yeah. Okay, right, Sonali, what's coming in love? Let's have a look. That's a nice one. I like that one. I love love questions. We all love love, don't we? We do. It's so nice when it works and so awful when it doesn't. So dreadful. It can make you or break you. I guess that's why it's so... you know, all the songs and all the poems and everything written about it, because it's just so... I'm going to give them another shuffle because I wasn't focusing because I was talking. Right. Let me just focus a bit more here. Sonali, what's coming in? Right, okay, so I have got here for you. Feels like you're moving away from a time that's been really stressful and has been like a bit of a nightmare. So it feels like you've had sleepless nights, and it feels like you've been let down, and you've been let down by a particular person who is from your past and is sort of tainted how you see your future in love. It feels like this person really did do some damage to you. It feels like they have almost, it like keeps you awake. That's what that card is. That woman is lying in bed with the swords over her, like, I can't sleep, this is awful, because she's like so let down by this page of swords in the past who was mentally cruel. But what you have in front of you is this card, which is a new opportunity, and it's a hand that comes from the clouds. So it is a new opportunity that comes from the confusion. So the state that you're in at the moment is that confusion of almost not knowing whether you want even a new relationship because of the damage that was done by this person putting you in this position. But this will come, and it feels like it will come from nowhere. It feels like it's going to like suddenly appear as if the hand from the cloud with the new opportunity. Now, because it's pentacles, I wouldn't be 100% about this, but I would say there's a potential for it to come from a work situation, somebody that you work with or somebody that's involved in that sort of thing. Now, the interesting thing about this is that I've also pulled the Hierophant card with this as a coupling with this card. And this is a combination that to me would say it's an opportunity that leads down a very traditional route for a relationship. So that sort of, I feel old-fashioned here. I feel like, you know, dating, then going out with somebody, and then the more committed phase, and then ultimately a very committed phase, even a marriage of a relationship. So it feels like this new opportunity is going to be quite a traditional relationship. So I hope that resonates with you, and I hope that works out, because that sounds fantastic. Right, and finally, I was going to do one for I for Jen. Will I be able to sort this mess out with the house? Let's have a look and see. Just bear with me. I hate going quiet because I feel like I'm making awkward silences, but it's difficult to focus on the cards and on the question and speak at the same time. So I, for general, I'd be able to sort the mess out with the house. Yes. Right. So it feels like you're the Queen of Cups here. So it's an emotional issue with you. It feels like this has played heavily on your emotions. It's like it's not just a mess with the house. It's like it's caused you significant emotional upset to do with this. And it feels like you've got the Wheel of Fortune reversed here, which can indicate that there's been, pardon me, there's been a little bit of bad luck associated with what's happened with the house. It feels like things should have turned out very differently, but like there was something happened that was unlucky that caused the problem, which is why it's turned into, as you described, a mess. It feels like there was an element of luck there and it just didn't go your way. So it feels like you have become the poor Queen of Cups, wears her heart on her sleeve, and she always tries to sort everything out for everybody else, but sometimes she forgets to look after herself and she takes on too much as well. And so it feels like you've absorbed the emotional impact of the problems with the house, and it feels like that's really impacting you. Now I've also just pulled a clarifier there, and that's the Seven of Swords. Now the Seven of Swords can be somebody who's been a little bit underhanded. It's a card, I always used to call it the burglar card, because it's like, if you look, it's like somebody sneaking away with the swords. So it can be somebody who's being dishonest, or it can be somebody who's been scheming. So it feels like there has been some kind of scheming or dishonesty that's associated with this bad luck that's led to this problem that's made you feel like emotionally drained, I would say, by the situation. But what we need you to return, either Jen, back to the Queen of Cups in her upright position, because she is heart on her sleeve, full of love, enough love to cope with everything and to feel positive about everything. But this is getting you down. Now, the good thing about this, the final card that I pulled, because I pulled 3 and a clarifier, is you've got the Emperor. So the Emperor is a definite yes, because he is the powerful, he is the leader, he is the person in charge. I say he can be a she. But it's that masculine energy of leadership, and it's also to do with law. It's to do with things being put right. It's to do with justice. He sits upon his throne and he makes judgment. And he, the Emperor, is the King of Kings. So it's like he makes the final judgment. And I'm also just pulling another clarifier there as well. And this is the Knight of Swords and the positive aspect, so up the right way. So it feels like this is going to change quite quickly, because your knight, see how he gallops? This indicates speed, and it's swords, so it indicates things being cut through, confusion being cut through quickly, intellectual changes in direction happening quickly, leading to a successful resolution. And it almost feels like there's an element of justice or law or rules being put into place in order for the changes that have made you upset, that are to do with a bit of luck and maybe a bit of underhandedness or scheming that's gone on, are going to be put right quickly. And it feels like there will be new rules put in place. And I hope that makes sense to you, because I'm literally just reading this blind. So it's like, I never know if I'm going down the right route with these, to be fair. I'm reading the cards for you. So I hope that makes sense for you, Jen. Right, I think I'm done. Oh, I've been on 1 hour, 18 minutes this morning. Thank you for sticking with me today. Oh, I've got some feedback. I'm spot on. Brilliant, brilliant. you're dealing with the rules at the minute. Brilliant. So the cards say that's how it's going to end. That's how it's going to be resolved. So good news, good news. We like that. Right, lovely. Thank you for being with me this morning. I hope to see you in the morning. Please like and share the stream. And goodbye. And I'm sure I shall catch you later on some Ron or Sean streams. And I'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye-bye and stay weird, everyone.